frame the average home, it takes an acre of full-grown trees, or the steel from 8 scrapped automobiles. Another strong argument for the new steel. Feel the strength. Another strong argument for the new steel. Feel the strength. The principle behind karma is that a lifetime spent in good and useful purpose will be rewarded by coming back in a higher form. This was a very good washing machine. Another strong argument for the new steel. Feel the strength. All it takes is one random spark from a fire, landing in the wrong place at the wrong time, and your whole family's future could go up in flames. Or not. Another strong argument for the new steel. Feel the strength. You can frame your new home with wood, or you can frame your new home with steel and have one less thing eating away at your investment. Another strong argument for the new steel. Feel the strength.
She liked her dollhouse more than her dolls. Her brother liked stepping on that dollhouse. 20 years and many classes later, she's an architect standing in a model home of her own design. At the open house, she speaks of the steel used to frame the home, how it withstands everything from hurricane winds to termite attacks. Her brother is there, smiling. She smiles back and thinks, let's see the little creep knock this one down.
Another strong argument for the new steel. Feel the strength. Sponsored by the Steel Alliance.
He always liked killing bugs. He remembers as a kid using the sun and a magnifying glass to go after ants. He can hardly believe that dead bugs are feeding and clothing his family now, that he's an exterminator by trade. One day he'll build a new house with his bug money, and he's going to build it with a steel frame. That way termites can't eat it. He told his wife he thinks that would be a little too ironic.
Another strong argument for the new steel. Feel the strength. Sponsored by the Steel Alliance.
He'd run out of clean underwear the week before, which made a trip to the laundromat crucial in spite of his anthropology final the next day. Studying feverishly as his clothes went through their cycles, he was unaware that all the old washers and dryers had been replaced with new ones, and that at that very moment the old ones were being recycled for use in a steel-framed house. Between Mayans and dirty socks, he didn't have time for anything else.
Another strong argument for the new steel. Feel the strength. Sponsored by the Steel Alliance.
They were the ones the neighbors talked about, from the cisterns they used to gather rainwater to their great wall of solar panels. They just did things differently. But it was too much when they started putting a new roof on over their old one. Someone had to ask why. Turns out it was a steel roof, and though it looked just like asphalt shingles, it would never need to be replaced. So the neighbors gave them credit for the roof. But they still talked about the windmill.
Another strong argument for the new steel. Feel the strength. Sponsored by the Steel Alliance.
From the moment the ultrasound revealed twin girls, his life began to change. The first thing that had to go was the white ghost, his beloved roadster. Just one look at those unborn girls and he knew he had to have something safer than a fiberglass convertible. A sedan with a steel body would be perfect. His wife would be happy. He'd figured that out on his own. So he took a really nice picture of the ghost to show his daughters when they got older.
Another strong argument for the new steel. Feel the strength. Sponsored by the Steel Alliance.
He knew a lot about something that no one really talked about. Trash. Tidbits like Americans throwing away 250 million tons of the stuff last year didn't exactly make for charming dinner conversation. And steel, being the most recycled product on the planet, wasn't easy to bring up either. But there weren't a lot of people to talk to on the back of a garbage truck anyway. So he just whistled as he made his rounds.
Another strong argument for the new steel. Feel the strength. Sponsored by the Steel Alliance.
She'd come to accept his fascination with bridges. He'd done a lot of research on them since they retired, surfing the internet, yelling his discoveries across the house. Facts like hard hats being invented for construction of the Golden Gate. Lately, he'd been going on and on about steel bridges, about how light they'd become relative to their size and strength. He always sounded a bit boyish when he talked about those bridges. She thought that was sweet.
Another strong argument for the new Steel. Feel the strength. Sponsored by the Steel Alliance.
She grits her teeth when she drives through intersections. Her fear is that someone might run a stoplight. She was that person once. It's hard to forget the feeling of plowing into that other car. The sheer force, the ugly sound it made. She remembers seeing the other driver climb out of his window, and remembers hearing a fireman say that her steel crumple zones saved both their lives. Before then, she didn't even know what a steel crumple zone was.
Another strong argument for the new Steel. Feel the strength. Sponsored by the Steel Alliance.